exciting to work with the Department of Natural Resources and the Indiana State Park System to bring the artists and arts organizations into this environment. Not only because it's a great opportunity for artists to expand as professionals and do some sort of community engagement project, but also to initiate those folks into the environment and help them cultivate that appreciation for that environment that they're in, the park system, the animals, the nature, their surroundings, and get back into that fold. We're so easily in the technological environment now. It's great that you guys are interested in coming into the fold and helping people celebrate and reacquaint themselves with the natural environment. So I'm very appreciative to the park system and certainly the Dunes for hosting us, and not only here today, but the many artists who have projects in the Dunes during this particular grant cycle. So we're going to be expanding it to be inclusive of the state historic sites, specifically the state's historic sites, of which there are 11. So some of you may be of interest in that platform as well. But the focus of today is to think about arts as community engagement for artists in particular, and from the lens of the state park system. And I want to appreciate and thank Greg for being here today, and he's going to be speaking with you. He's one of the interpreters. And Luann Holliday, who's helped put all of these workshops together. And then Carissa Carmen, who is an artist who's been doing public arts projects with different communities for quite some time, is going to be speaking about those experiences. And then I'm going to be talking about not only our grant program, but just kind of best practices in authoring a grant in general. And that'll be kind of the summary of what we're going to do today.
We've got an exceptional environment here, and it's wonderful that we're bringing people in through arts in the park projects. One thing that we do ask is obviously be aware of the surroundings that you're working in. Lake Michigan is a natural treasure that impacts the lives of residents and visitors in many ways. And the sand dunes themselves on the lake, it took thousands of years to build, to create. It's very impressive, the dunes. People actually stand here at the Nature Center and say, I want to be in the dunes, I want to see the dunes. And of course, the dunes are all around us. They're unique, they're dynamic, they're continually on the move if nature isn't permitted to keep them in place. Sand dune formation is a very slow process. It's taken thousands of years for our large dunes to form. Highest one here is 192 feet. Former lake levels have formed a number of dunes, a number of ridges of dunes, depending on if the lake level was higher or lower over time. The plants growing in the dunes stabilize the dunes. So that vegetation that's there that starts from just a little bit off the beach is critical to the stabilization of the dunes. It's a very delicate balance between public access to the dunes and protecting the dunes. People walking on them can quickly erode what's taken thousands of years to form. I mention this because as your work, we'd like to have your respect in what we have here as a natural resource. Diverse plant life, there are about 600 species of plants here, just as a detail. It's a very broad ecology. And actually the birthplace of ecology was in this, we're in the dunes, by a gentleman named Cowles that did research here a number of years ago. People can make a difference in the park. This park is here because a lot of dedicated folks worked to get it, and it opened in 1925. As a result of these efforts, we have 2,100 acres of marvelous park here now, surrounded by the national park. We would just appreciate any consideration that you can do in your projects, and any reinforcement of what Paige mentioned, of leaving the natural as it is. If you can get those points across in your art, that would be a wonderful thing to do. The campsite, the area itself, we've got 140 campsites, everything from tents to large motorhomes come in. The general visitor profile, we have campers, both weekends and week-long. We have a lot of day users for picnic and hiking. A lot of visiting groups come in for nature programs. School groups, spring and summer, scouts, other volunteer service, and we have a lot of those are in the group camps. And of course, we have a lot of beach growers, as you noticed when you tried to come in today. There's a few points that would be nice, again, if we could reiterate about how to deal with the park, with the element that we're working in here. Please contact park staff as soon as possible in the planning process. Park staff is really helpful with everybody, and a lot of bright people work here. They'd be willing to help, do whatever they can. Visit the property as soon as possible. Communicate with staff to coordinate with pre-existing park programming. Plan ahead so you can reserve necessary shelters, facilities months in advance, and so you can check the park calendar. We can check that for you. Be self-reliant. We'll help you, but we need you to be self-reliant in the project. Create projects that have minimal impact on park activities and on other visitors. Design your project to be green, minimal impact on the park itself. Read the park policies and know what they are. On the back of the map that have the hiking trails and the camping information, on the back of the camping information too, there's information on the rules of the park. Keep in mind that projects can not include permanent fixtures or any trailside structure. Remember that the actual project must match up with the project as described in your grant application. And engage the public, be friendly and courteous. We try to do that as best we can, obviously, and we'd appreciate if you would too. There's some potential venues that you can use, and again, these would need to be scheduled, some of them. You have the lakefront beach, which is a large area. There's no shelter from the elements. You have occasional noise from things called waves, and the wind can be an issue down there. Wilson Shelter is a building that's just to the south of us. It has inside and outside areas, has a fireplace. Inside holds up to 100 people, and more outside, and electric is available at that location. The Nature Center auditorium that you're in right now holds a maximum of about 80. So you've got obviously electricity, air conditioning, Wi-Fi, AV capabilities. And then we have down at the bottom of the hill, just below the Nature Center, we have a program area that holds about 50. It's with picnic tables. There's no electric, there is a fire ring, and there are, no picnic tables. Any questions? Okay. Thank you very much and have a good day.